Well, thank you. Thank you to you and Senator Cruz for rescheduling today's hearing from tomorrow to today. It would be a terrible mistake if we lost another couple of weeks in our efforts to get a confirmed and capable director, administrator of the FAA. And I'm glad to see that you share that priority. I also want to associate myself with the remarks of Senator Cruz in a couple of, particularly in a couple of instances in which he spoke about the importance of workforce and returning to the office. That needs to be a federal-wide circumstance, but I hope you will fully take the lead that you described to Senator Cruz to see that that happens at the Federal Aviation Administration. And also, it baffles my mind that we desperately need air traffic controllers so critically, and yet the gap that is created by lack of educational facilities and training remains. And so I appreciated your answer to both of Senator Cruz's questions. Let me ask a couple of questions. You're nominated at a unique time in the history of the FAA. Airspace is congested and new entrants are arriving daily. As the demand for aviation continues to grow, coupled with unprecedented challenges the industry's faced over the past few years, what lessons did you learn? What lessons did you learn as the deputy administrator that prepare you to be the administrator in these days?
Thank you, Senator Moran. I learned an infinite amount during those 3 years. It was really quite instructive, both on a technical side. I learned particularly to appreciate the 5,000 airports that we have in this country, some of them dating back to World War II and military uses. And I know from my experience with some startups that are looking at new technologies, these airports present a structure of infrastructure that is an opportunity, a business opportunity. I know Beta from Vermont is already building charging stations and the like at small airports to create their own network of connectivity. So I think my experience, particularly in the airspace, will help me chart a path forward for integrating a lot of these new technologies going forward.
Your experience as a Chief Operating Officer at Supernal, can you identify ways you will shepherd exciting technologies, AAM in particular, safely and efficiently into our national airspace?
So safety will always be the #1 priority, but we can't use that as an excuse not to move more quickly. I think the key is to have an integrated vision for how these various new entrants, whether it's commercial space launch, supersonic travel, small drones, or vertical takeoffs that turn into horizontal flight, can fit into our existing system. I think that's going to involve some technologies in the system that we haven't had before, and it's going to involve a roadmap on how to implement those technologies.
Senator Duckworth and I and others have been fully engaged in air mobility issues, and it seems things move at a glacially slow pace. And the difficulty we face, certainly no one could disagree with your comments about safety. It is the priority. But we operate in a world in which competitors cannot have the advantage of a regulatory system that moves much more rapidly than what I've seen in our circumstance. And it's true beyond just these new advanced technologies. We need to be competitive in this world as we manufacture, develop, research, and engineer new entrants into the realm. I would ask you a final question. Assure me that you will take charge and be a strong and determined leader in a circumstance in which there's lots of bureaucracy and backlog that makes that a challenge.
Senator, I can give you that assurance, and I feel like my time at FAA gives me some real advantage. I'm known in the agency, and I know a lot of people there, and I have a pretty clear vision for the mission, and I know it's a hard job, and I know it's an important job, and I embrace that.
Well, Mr. Whitaker, you will have a tough job if confirmed ahead of you I've not said this publicly. You and I have met. You and I have had a telephone conversation, and today's hearing. Everything I know about you suggests that you should be confirmed, and my intention is to vote for your confirmation and encourage my colleagues to do so as well.
Thank you, Senator.